This is Don't Panic, episode number 347, recorded September 12th, 2022. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and we couldn't do it without you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys who definitely celebrated today's holiday, National Chocolate Milkshake Day. It's Colby Rabbineau and Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen.
Wow, I can't believe I'm just hearing about this now.
And you know the sad thing? I actually knew that before we even did the show. I give you guys a lot of credit about being dedicated to managing your notifications. I just let everything notify me for everything. So I got a notification today from the Burger King app that chocolate milkshakes were on sale for Chocolate Milkshake Day. So that's my sad life. That's how I know.
Wow.
I don't even eat that much Burger King. I don't even know why I have the Burger King app. I don't even know how that happened.
I can't remember the last time I went to a Burger King. What do you get?
You are not missing much.
Whopper. Didn't they have a chicken sandwich that was kind of good?
They did have their new sandwich. Yeah, they followed the trend. I thought it was fine. You know, Whopper's a classic. They got the onion rings.
Onion rings.
Huh. I tried Jack in the Box for the first time ever a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
It was very bad. It was, I think it's got to be the worst fast food experience I've had so far. It was just like, why does this exist? Who wants this?
But I think the question has to be, did you get a burger or did you get one of the odder menu items?
I got one of the odder ones because I figured I'm here. And what is the thing that they recommend? It's like a French toast burger or something.
Well, they have like the tiny tacos. Did you get the tiny tacos?
No. What did I get? Oh, the sourdough burger. That's what I got.
Okay. And it didn't live up to the hype?
It was just very, very average. Tiny tacos. I mean, I guess I would try that next.
I don't think you need to go back. I think
no.
You've served your country well.
It was one of those like rest stops where we're like, oh, this is a convenient place on the highway. But it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they had a gas station and a Jack in the Box. And that was it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Now, prior to this, what was your top worst fast food?
I have a special hatred for Quiznos. It's not really founded in anything. It just feels like, why does this exist? It's just a worse Subway in every way, in my opinion. Although it's been a long time since I tried it. Every time I go to Quiznos, I'm just like, it's just so disappointing by comparison because it's so similar, but it is worse. You're like, why couldn't it just be Subway?
You don't like the toaster
the other
conveyor?
ones, like, Burger King is very inoffensive. Burger King and Wendy's, they're not bad. It's just fine. It's got to be Quiznos. I can't think of one that I actively dislike besides Quiznos.
That's fair.
I need to look at a list, though.
Right.
I will eat it, but I don't like KFC. I don't think it's good.
It's hard to screw up fried chicken, though.
I think there's other better options. I think a Popeyes is better.
I've never had Popeyes.
They've built like 3 Popeyes within a reasonable distance of my house in like the last 3 weeks. It's crazy. They popped up. I drive by and there's nothing, and then I pop up and there's a Popeyes. I don't know what they're doing. It's wild.
I guess this must have been like before COVID when the Popeyes chicken sandwich was like all the rage. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I finally decided, I knew there was a Popeyes over here. I knew right where it was. It'd been there. I knew where it was since before I even lived in Boston. And I finally decided one day, I was like, you know what? I was going home from work. I didn't have anything for dinner at home. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get this chicken sandwich. And I walked over there and the Popeyes was gone. The sign was gone. Like fully disappeared from that building. and I never tried the sandwich. I don't even know.
Devastating.
Now,
Yeah.
did you know, fun fact, I just learned that Washington State has the fewest fast food restaurants per capita of any state.
Well, they do call it the slow state, so they like their food slow. I don't know.
Do
what
they?
that means. No, I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know. I would think that, actually, can I bring up a mini rant for a second since we're on this topic?
Yeah.
Dunkin Donuts breakfast sandwiches. I don't think they're good.
Yeah. They're not super good.
But they're not bad, but it's like a Burger King breakfast sandwich to me. It's like, this is fine.
But here's the thing. I think the quality isn't bad. I just think the flavor is bad, and I've come up with a solution, and Dunkin' Donuts, I know you're watching. One thing that I think would take their C-level sandwiches to an A-level. Sauces. The sandwiches are so dry and mono flavor. It's just sort of just salt and bread. There's not a lot of flavor. Put a ranch on there. Put a sriracha on there. Put a pesto on there. You can have a selection of sauces. And I'm telling I put guacamole. I have little like pre-made guacamole cups. I put guacamole on my breakfast sandwiches. It tastes incredible.
I mean, you're not wrong. I feel like sauce sandwich technology was invented a long time ago, and now that you mention it, it's kind of weird.
Get on it, Duncan, and upcharge for it. I mean, I think this is like such a no-brainer because the sandwiches are so dry.
Do you remember when they changed the eggs?
I do. Do you know, though, you can still get... Have you ever had the sourdough breakfast sandwich at Dunkin'? They use the old-style eggs.
What?
Yes, they put 2 of them on there. Way better.
Wow. I haven't had Dunkin' breakfast in a while. I feel like the other key to Dunkin' breakfast was getting like sausage instead of like their bacon is not.
No,
it's
really
barely
not.
bacon.
And
it's technically bacon.
They had Beyond sausage for a little while, and that fell off the map.
Mm-mm. It went too far.
Yes, it went beyond. Well,
Bed Bath and Beyond sausage.
Yes, exactly. So what's going on, guys? What's good?
I got some shots today.
Shots.
Juiced up. COVID, the flu.
Now, how'd they do?
covered.
How are those? You got to rate your pharmacist. How was your experience?
Oh, I think he did a great job. He didn't ask me any of the questions, which I appreciated because I already answered the questions in the app. The last time I went for vaccines, like they asked me all of the questions in person too. And then, I mean, he was pretty down to business. There was no like counting or anything. He like swabbed me and then like, whoosh, and then he like scooted over to the other side on his rolly stool. And he did the same thing. Bang,
No
bang.
counting?
Oh, I don't know. There was just no lead up to he didn't
I
say
see.
like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it now. He just like did the thing.
There's no
I guess,
warning.
right. I guess we're all vaccine experts at this point. There's no mystery to it anymore.
Now, did you need to do any research into going to the correct place that had the correct booster, or you just didn't do any research, showed up, it was the correct booster, and everything was fine?
Well,
Colby's now just realizing, wait, what did they inject me with?
for one, I think we I was going to say purchase. We like reserved our vaccine appointment online at CVS. Is there a correct booster? Like, can you get the wrong one?
I can answer this. You can't. I don't know if like they legally, but basically they are not selling the old one anymore. They've discontinued the old one. So if there is a shot out there right now, it basically has to be the new one or no shot at all.
Right. That's the super one. And is that like, it doesn't matter anymore which brand you get, right?
Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. From what I've read, it'll work, but they do They do recommend you stay in the same. Like, there is a small, like, fringe benefit. Like, it makes it slightly better, but not big enough to, like, require it, you know?
Interesting. Gotcha. I heard the opposite secondhand from doctors, which is
you're supposed to mix and match?
A small fringe benefit from, like, being exposed to different formulations and giving you a broader immune something.
Well.
So I think the answer is no, you're probably fine.
Yeah. I guess that means either I or Laura am getting a small fringe benefit because this was her first Moderna and I've only had Moderna.
I see you're A/B testing. So let's see how you fare this winter.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
You know, it was funny when I got last year I did the flu and the booster at the same time. And when I went into the little vestibule at the CVS, there were 2 syringes there, and they were not labeled. They were just 2 syringes sitting there, and there was anything labeled anywhere that I could see. And so she picks up one of the shots, and we're chatting, and she puts it in the arm, and I go, "Which one was that?" She goes, "I don't know." I was like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine. You're just going to get both of them." I'm like, "Oh no, CVS." Not great.
Yeah, I asked my pharmacist that, and he knew. He was like, "Oh, that was Moderna." And then he said,
was just making it up.
It could have been, but he did say before he gave me the flu shot, he was like, "People have been saying this one hurts a lot," and it didn't hurt that much.
Rude.
So, yeah.
Or is that some sort of crazy psychology thing?
Right.
And then it doesn't hurt at all. And then for the next one, you're like, well, I got the hard one out of the way. The next one's be no problem.
But this is why I could never be, like, have that kind of job, because I would just pick up both syringes, like, look really closely. Go, well, this is the one with the microchips in it. Okay, that's the one. That's the COVID shot. Okay.
Do you remember the Dubai Friday story about the allergy shots? And the way that they administer the allergy shots is there are many shots,
yes,
dozens, and they come out in a wooden box in a grid, and then you take your forearm and there's a grid drawn on that, and they take 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and they got to the end and there was an empty square, meaning that they stuck one needle in 2 spots, but they had no way of knowing where that happened, and so they had to do the whole procedure over again on the other arm.
Nasty.
Terrible.
Yeah. No thanks. I got a new keyboard because my old keyboard finally died.
Oh, you got that one.
Oh my god.
I got that one.
That looks like and I say this as a compliment, that looks like a toy you would give a child to entertain them. It's got bright lights, it's clean and shiny. Bright lights.
We'll see how long it remains clean and shiny.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the throes of learning the new keyboard. Sometimes I just delete everything I just wrote because I pressed Command A instead of Shift A.
No.
Yeah.
So I also have that keyboard and I stopped using it.
You have this keyboard, the Moonlander?
Yeah.
Oh.
I used it for like a decent amount of time, and I liked it, but I could not find a way to do the keys and like angle the thumb things in a way that did not make my thumbs hurt. Like my hands hurt like all the time from doing the thumb buttons, and it just like never went away.
Interesting. Yeah, they are not exactly comfortable for me yet. And I think just today I realized that they were probably too far apart.
Yeah.
But I've taken their advice. I don't know if you saw this advice at the time. Like, keep it flat for the first month and then adjust it. So I've refrained from making any adjustments.
Smart.
This thing looks wild.
It's dangerous. I did like being able to set, like, you can change the color on like every key and like make all the keys do anything. It was pretty
Yeah,
wild.
so it is useful. That is my favorite feature that I didn't appreciate when I got it, is that a lot of the way these keyboards work, Sean, is you press a button on your keyboard, and then what the keys do on your keyboard changes. It's like the shift button. Like conceptually, when you press the shift button,
That's
right,
interesting.
your lowercase keys become uppercase keys, and the 5 becomes the parentheses or the percent sign or whatever. But you have multiple keys that can do that. But it gets super confusing on a keyboard because now the things on your keyboard no longer represent what is going to be pressed. But with the lights, so I can demonstrate this. When I press this button,
it changes.
it shows
look at
me
that!
which keys I can press now, which is
That's
super
awesome.
helpful.
That is very cool.
Heck yeah. It was a cool keyboard.
So did you find it has magnets. I didn't realize that.
Magnets.
Did you find a new home for it, Colby?
I think it's in the closet, if I recall
Okay.
correctly. I should have just mailed it to you.
A home of sorts. See, if only I had known.
Right.
Now, which kind of keys did you get? Which kind of switches, rather?
Oh,
Did you get the super clicky ones?
what color?
Blue. Blue's the one I got.
It might have been blue. I mean, there weren't that many options, right? I don't remember there being options at all, but I could be wrong.
There were several options, and then you could click on the advanced menu and get even more options. But something I did just today was I ordered one of those fake keyboards where each key is a different switch, and so now I'll finally be able to try all of them.
Nice.
Because you can also just pull the whole switch out of this keyboard. You don't have to desolder anything, and then replace the whole mechanism.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. We'll see. Hopefully my thumbs don't hurt. But it is like a bigger keyboard. I think that's like the issue is your hands have to span a bit more of a distance.
It was probably I probably should have configured the buttons differently. I think I just used their defaults, but I probably should have changed some stuff.
I did see on their website they will sell you one of those keyboards where all the keys are blank.
Yeah.
That is true lunacy.
I used to have one of those.
That's crazy.
I mean, I still have one of them. It's just broken. And that's why I bought this keyboard. But that sounds crazy, but the advantage is then when you press the button that changes what the keys do, you can't be confused because the keys don't say anything.
I was always
Put another
impressed-
way, you're confused all the time. Nothing means anything.
Well, it was. I was impressed because they had a few. I don't think they ever took off where each key had an OLED screen on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
they were,
is the future.
I just know they were like $1,000. They were crazy expensive.
Well, there's
But I
the
was
Stream Deck, which is basically that, except it's not really keyboardy, but it's the same idea.
It's infinite touch bar.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. And everyone loved the touch bar, so I could see why you'd want that. Now, Dan,
Yes.
you were not here on Wednesday when we recapped the Apple Far Out event. And it wouldn't be fair if we didn't spend a moment getting any thoughts and opinions you have of what Apple discussed.
Yeah. Let's see. The big thing I remember is Apple Watch Ultra, of course, which I've been going on lots of hikes. And just this most recent one we went on, we were hearing this. We thought we were hearing someone with one of those emergency whistles, but we were pretty sure it was a bird because it only tweeted once every 20 minutes, which if someone was in an emergency, I think they tweet at least a pattern and probably more often. But that was in the back of my mind as I watched the thing, and I was like, oh shit, it would be so useful to just always have something like that that could make noise. And sure, you have the whistle and stuff. And then but I guess the thing that probably sticks in my mind the most is the satellite phone calling thing, or not phone calling, but satellite connectivity.
Yeah.
Because I am often without cell phone service. And Lena is more often without cell phone service, at least in the wintertime. So I can't wait to have that feature. I wish that I could I wish I could get the Apple Watch Ultra. Honestly, I'm fine with the price, and I love all the features. It's just too damn big to be like my only Apple Watch. And I'm like, what do? I go hiking or skiing once a week, and I'm wearing this Apple Watch that whole time, or am I going to have two Apple Watches? Like, no, that's
a fashion statement, Dan.
That's not
you
my
want
kind
it big.
of fashion.
You want everyone to see it.
So my hope is that they bring some of the stuff like the fancier GPS. I was sad that the new watch doesn't have the super accurate GPS, because it is nice to go skiing with just your watch and then to get all the stats be more accurate. That'd be cool. And the louder speaker, that'd be nice. But yeah, I am going to Australia next year, and and by we I mean me. I will apparently be going scuba diving. So I did think about it. I was extremely tempted. I was like, how cool would it be to go scuba diving with this thing that one time? I'll go scuba diving next year. But I didn't get it. So those are my thoughts. What did I miss?
Phones? Are you upgrading your phone? Dynamic
I
Island?
upgraded the phone. I got the Pro. I just did the black phone this time. I wasn't a big fan of the purple. I wish they had more exciting colors. I'm excited for better camera, but the phone does feel pretty incremental. But the satellite calling thing is very clutch. I'm excited for that.
Well, Colby and I already discussed, he's going to take the Don't Panic Challenge, where we're going to take him to the top of a mountain and push him off. And he's going to have to use the emergency calling, and he's going to test it out for the show.
Are you going to push him off on skis, or this is just going to be like in a couple of weeks, you're just going to push him off?
No, just like a regular mountain. Just,
I see.
kind of just... I mean, you won't fall all the way down it, just a little bit.
Part of
a little
the
battered and bruised.
It's like when the AirTags came out. I replaced all the batteries in my AirTags this weekend. Apparently, it's been whatever 9 to 10 months since those were released.
I just got a notification that was like, replace the batteries in your AirTag.
But remember when the AirTags came out, all the reviewers were like, let's hide an AirTag in this park in New York City and see if my coworker can find it. It's that, but with a human.
Yeah.
Let's get Colby truly lost in the wilderness and then see if rescue services can find him.
Rude. Yeah, I don't like it.
What did you think? A week on, what are you excited about?
I was excited to order a new phone, and then I was going through the thing, and it was like, oh, you have to pay $100 to
the upgrade
pay
fee
out
thing.
your remaining, the remaining whatever remains on your year. I was like, I'm not going to do that, so I'm just waiting until I don't know.
Was that because last year the phone came out in October or something?
I don't know. I swear I did that last year. Like last year I paid the $100, which makes me even more annoyed. But I don't know. I'm sure I could go back and look at the, look at the timing. But so, yeah, I didn't order anything. I didn't order a watch either. I did order an aftermarket AirPlay radio for the car.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool. That was I took
exciting.
my $500 and spent it on that instead of an Apple Watch.
Very cool. But
Does it
only
come with
one
a
will be
cassette
stolen
player?
when someone breaks into your car.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I just won't put it in. I'll just keep it outside of the car and take it inside.
Do they still
with
make
me.
them that are where they are detachable?
They do. Some of them do, but they were pretty expensive ones with really big screens. And I just wanted a little one that went in the hole. I need a Tesla display that sticks off the dashboard.
Oh, I didn't realize that they made things like that. So you can get a full, a larger screen than the hole that it fits in. And what does
Yeah.
it do? have like a monitor arm or something and rotates around?
Yeah, there's a little like bracket that
Wow.
you can adjust and like angle towards you and stuff. For like
Wow.
$1,000, you can do that. But I didn't want to spend $1,000. And
That's great, though.
Right. Some of those you can like the bracket like detaches and you can take the screen with you instead of leaving it in your car.
It's going to be a nice upgrade for you.
Yeah. We'll see.
Driving
see
in
if it works.
style.
Report
It seems
back.
like it wouldn't be that. And here's my car ignorance, right? Looking at the dashboard, the thing with the radio seems pretty integrated into the rest of the thing. So it seems like you need to dismantle part of it to put an aftermarket one in. Is my understanding correct with that?
I think it's really just I haven't done this yet. But what I've been led to believe is like a lot of that stuff in your car is like I don't know, it's just like a piece of plastic that is it like clips in, but if you have like
Right.
like I don't know.
The iFixit battery removal tool or whatever they call it.
Exactly. If you have that dingus for your car, you can just pop stuff off. Like there's all kinds
But then
of things
do you pop it
off.
back on, or then just like the plastic housing is just off on the center console?
Oh, I think you pop it back on. I
Okay.
will be surprised if I can't pop it back on.
That seems to make it. Well, I guess this is my point. Is like it's already not the case that you can't just like walk into the store, buy the new stereo, and then just like pull out the old. It already is an ordeal. So it seems to me that if the stealing of the stereo thingies is a problem, why don't they just make it slightly less convenient to take the plastic housing off with
I
like
see what you mean.
a little key or like screws or something, right? Like I feel like any amount of friction would make it way less palatable.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Is it still a thing? Do people steal stereos?
I mean,
out
they
of
was
cars?
gonna
steal
say-
everything else, so I figured they would. But
Right.
I don't know what percentage of cars these days have aftermarket stereos in them.
Right. I don't know either. Dan, was it you whose someone stole the catalytic converter off your car?
Yep.
That was the thing. I remember I saw some article about that. I was like, God, I shouldn't have a car. This is terrible.
yeah, and that would make sense, right? Like you can't add extra housing around the bottom of the car because that affects its ability to be a car.
Yeah.
But on the inside, it feels like you have more wiggle room. But I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about how a lot of car manufacturing is actually very everyone does things the same way, but for no good reason at all. And there's a lot. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here. Monoculture. There's a lot of monoculture. Like it turns out that Toyota and Ford, they don't build the actual construction of the cars is pretty much the same. Down to like how is the plastic housing thing attached and how many screws hold the engine in. It's like there's just this many screws and they're pretty much always the same in the same places. It's like, why are those screws there? There is no reason. It's just the way the engines are held into the hood of the car.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because a lot of those parts, Toyota doesn't. I wonder if it's the same manufacturer who sells to all the
Yeah.
car builders, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, this was in the context of electric cars where they are breaking all the rules, but the rules aren't rules at all. It's just like I think I was reading specifically about the dash and how many screws hold the dash into the body of the car, and it's like 16 or something like that, but it could just be 4, right? Like the dash does not experience like maybe if you have a Jeep and you take the whole hood off, then maybe it would need to be more. But the dash is not put under incredible stress.
Well, Dan, you did give me a good idea, though, Colby. I think you got to look at upgrading your car to electric.
I was just thinking...
Can't be that hard.
As I was thinking about the, replacing the stereo unit, and then I was thinking about CarPlay, I was like, what if could you retrofit all that new CarPlay shit they showed at WWDC into a normal car? Surely some YouTuber is going to do that next year.
Oh yeah.
They can just have LCD screens all over the place.
Why
Somehow
not,
road
Colby?
legal.
I think
could be
Colby, I got a
Colby.
few extra old laptops with some batteries in them and stuff. We'll just jerry rig them together and boom, electric car.
Sounds great. If you just like slap a couple MacBook batteries together and
not hard.
plug it into the engine.
We'll buy like an old golf cart or something, take the
Plug
engine
it
off.
into the engine.
You'll be zooming.
The problem is there's nowhere to plug it in. I
Yes.
don't.
Well, hey,
That
listen, we
is
could
the
always run
problem
it
with
on
city
double
living.
A's.
That's true.
Someone might steal your batteries, so you could just take the whole battery out of the car, bring it up to your apartment, plug it in there.
That's
Colby with like a suitcase-sized battery.
or like I'll keep a hand truck in the back of the car to roll it in.
Surprised nobody's thought of that. Put it in your car battery dock in the middle of your living room. I love that. Now, guys, before we get into the news this week, I did want to say iOS 16 came out today. Colby, I know you haven't downloaded it. Dan, any first thoughts?
I didn't do that much with it. I set a new lock screen, and I
Nice.
used the weather one, and that was
Nice.
about it. Yeah,
I've
so
got-
far my weather hasn't been very exciting. Is your iPhone have a blinking indicator on the top?
That's the infrared from
Oh.
the Face ID camera. That gets, like, if I turn off the screen and turn it back on, you can see it scanning for my face. That's not there.
Wow, that's cool.
But I do have the bottom stacking notifications, which is new.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait.
And I played around. The problem I have is, for some reason, I know apps have been updated. I don't have any third-party home screen widgets yet. So I haven't really been able to go wild. But it is nice.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't either. I noticed that a lot of things seem way faster. Just like the way that those notifications animate, for instance, feels really smooth.
Yeah. A lot more sort of, not bouncy, but a lot more sort of, it reminds me of the Dynamic Island that we saw in the announcement, where it's a lot more sort of, it's a little bit more whooshy and a little bit more bouncy, and there's a little bit more flavor to the animation, it feels.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed was getting a text. You go, bing, the thing shows up. You hold down on the notification to bring up like the in-context responder dingus. I don't know what
Yep.
they call that. Smart notification something. That thing always used to, like, you'd hold down, bing, the text box would show up, but then the context of the thread would like hang for a second before it rendered. Now it renders instantly. That's
Yeah.
my favorite feature so far. And I haven't tried anything else. Oh no, I did try the I don't know what this is called. Like the subject detection in the photos, where you hold down on the person or the dog and you can paste it. I had a lot of fun with that in my brief time. I'll send you.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
I picked up the cat in the photo. Let me see if I can turn it. Look, I picked up Charlie out of the picture.
Yeah.
Oh my
What?
god, that's awesome.
That's cool.
See if I can.
Oh, that's really neat.
I'm so mad that neither of you told me that this was happening today.
Should we get like a text thread going every time there's an update?
Maybe.
Dog.
Oh my god. That is awesome. So but then how do I do something with it once I pull it out?
So I only did
You
this in
can't do
photos, but if
anything
you
with
do it in photos,
Oh, there you go. So now I
you
can
can, like-
share.
you can share, you can copy it and paste it into something else.
And let's see. I can put it in Slack. And I can send it to Don't Panic. Cool.
Doo-doo-doo.
It also does a pretty good job. Like, I was noticing, does a really good job with hair.
Yeah, the
Like-
edges are super clean.
And if there's a bunch of hair and it's kind of translucent, it like detects that, and it doesn't just like cut that hair off or keep the background in. It's not perfect, but it does a pretty good job.
Wow. Such a fancy beverage.
Yeah, that was. I got some good cocktail timing in Charlotte. Oh, that's a cool one. That's great. Yeah,
So
I
that's
haven't.
fun.
I haven't undone any iMessages or edited them or anything like that yet. I got to do that next. I did get the new battery power indicator. I don't know if you can see that where it says the number.
Oh, in the
see
upper left or as a home screen widget?
No, in the upper right where
Oh,
you
sorry,
have
upper right.
the amount of the battery. It's not very interesting. So more stuff to play with. I got to play more with the lock screens, especially where you can set a photo shuffle.
Oh,
Which is where you pick any photos you want on your camera roll, and you can set how often they cycle.
It's kind of insane that it didn't do that before
that's a good point.
in all these years.
Oh, look! I made a me on vacation background. Look at that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Nice shirt.
This is great. I'm gonna have fun with this bad boy. So anyway, iOS 16, check it out. And of course, I did new WatchOS as well. I did the thing where I was like, "Oh, new iOS, great!" And then I went to update my Mac, and I'm like, "Oh, Ventura's not till next month."
Dang. Bummer. Well, I have 19 minutes left until iOS 16.
It was a decent update. Took a little
It
while.
took me forever to install it, though, so maybe it's best that you waited. It's just I had to try 50 times to download it.
People are excited. And speaking of excitement, we do have a couple stories here in the rundown involving some of the tech things happening in the world. Guys, anything jumping out at you, screaming excitement? I really tried my damnedest to put a list together.
Let's talk about
on.
the AI-generated artwork.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting story, kind of a real head-scratcher, thought-provoker. Jason Allen, a game designer, sparked controversy after he submitted a piece of artwork to the Colorado State Fair Fine Arts Competition in the digital art / digitally manipulated photography category, and he won. The thing is, he didn't make the image. It was an AI-generated image, generated through Midjourney. He said it was generated through there, and then a little bit of Photoshop on top of it. According to Allen, he said the description clearly stated he created them via Midjourney, though he also admits that it's not his fault nobody knew what that was. He told people at the show it's digital art created using AI tools. He said it's no different. Not explaining Midjourney is no different than explaining how Illustrator works. The rules of the competition describe his category as only, quote, artistic practice that uses digital technology as part of the creative or presentation process. The director of communication for the Colorado Department of Agriculture, I'm sure the weirdest thing he's ever been involved in, said Allen had mentioned he used it in the submission, but he didn't explain how it worked. Nonetheless, the fair's rules allowed anybody to file a grievance against submissions, and no such grievance had been filed. So he remains the winner.
Wow.
You just inspired me for my pick this week.
Are you entering art in your local state fair?
No, I can just cover it now. Today, or I don't know, recently, all those websites where you can go to and typically you have to pay, or you get one free image a month and you put in the prompt and it generates the thing.
Yep.
If you have an M1 Mac, you can do that right now just by downloading this app and installing it, and you can do it as much as you want.
Me?
It's pretty cool. You need at least 16 gigabytes, but if you've got that, you're golden. It's called Diffusion Bee. Is my pre-pick.
Nice. We'll have the link to that on the website.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Any strong opinions on this one?
Well, I've told the story many times about the talk I went to where it was the people working at Stripe, and they were talking about how their AI for fraud detection got so advanced that that they could no longer definitively say why a charge was declined. And so then they had to come up with another AI that generated plausible explanations for why your charge was declined, and the humans actually loved it. They were like, oh, great. But there is no guarantee that that is why the charge was declined. It's just designed to be plausible given the circumstances. And I don't know. I think this is going to become more and more common. We're all going to become computer psychologists and not computer programmers. And that's just the future. Yeah. And to what extent you're utilizing technology like this, I think will vary. But, you take a photograph, right? And all that stuff Apple was talking about last week. Did you make this photo, or was the whatever neural composition engine, whatever the heck they called it?
The photonic engine.
The photonic engine, thank you. Or did that take the photograph? It's like, oh, well, I showed it what to take a photograph of, and so in photography, that still counts. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't entered any photos into competitions, but I don't think people are nitpicking about, like, oh, you used this digital technique, it's not allowed. And obviously, this is more than that. But I think it's probably a bit more extreme. I think computers will not be able to make the best art anytime soon, but I think computers will be able to help with like the idea generation process and try out ideas way faster and maybe be involved in an aspect of it. Maybe you draw a sketch and say, make this Van Gogh.
Right.
That'd be cool.
I mean, I do think there is an artistic skill in telling the computer what to do.
It's why some people are better at Googling than others.
Exactly, and that's what this gentleman claims, is he said he spent a lot of time creating the right prompt to generate this. There was a lot of time spent generating it. And I said, okay, that is interesting. Now, should he have been more upfront in saying, hey, this was AI? I don't think so. I mean, it's a digital art category. At a state fair, I don't think this is a huge deal. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, no, it is art. I mean, it's if you can visually see it, it's art. Believe me, I've been to modern art museums. They'll claim anything's art. This is part of my like Midwest comedy routine. Sorry, we're coastal elites. And so I think it's fine. I think it's cool, actually. I would I rather see like a separate AI versus like a Photoshop kind of category? Sure, but more power to this guy. This is one of those times where I'm like, I should have thought to do that. I love bending the rules in competitions. Like, it's just, I love it. And I'm like, why didn't I think of doing this at my local fair? God damn it.
Right. You could have been first at the Big E.
I could have been the guy. Notorious podcaster Sean Jennings, first to submit AI artwork. Maybe I will. Listen, my state fair is coming up. I still can, And he won $750 or something was his prize.
Hey, there you go.
He won cash, and he didn't, make it. So that's great.
Do you think he recouped the amount he spent on like whatever Dolly credits?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'll pay for his Photoshop subscription, so
there you go.
Not too bad. So congratulations to Jason Allen, our digitally generated star of the week.
And this was the Colorado State Fair?
This was the Colorado State Fair. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can't trust those Coloradian artists. All right. Another story in here you guys would like to talk about? Because I'll pick one if you don't.
Go for it, Sean.
We're probably, the Meta announcement event is coming up in the next couple weeks, so I don't want to talk about the leak, because we'll talk about it when it actually comes out. I want to talk about these Lenovo glasses, because I actually think they're neat and kind of want them. So we've talked on the show before about smart glasses with displays in them that display information, but Lenovo came out with it's the Lenovo Glasses T1, and all they're designed to do is to connect to your computer and be a second screen, to generate a second screen in front of you. And I kind of think that's neat. Two 1080p micro LED screens, and there's no VR or AR, nothing like that. It's designed to keep you tethered, and all it literally does, it'll connect to PCs, tablets, smartphones, Macs, and other devices. Yeah, they're battery powered, but can pull power from capable devices and have built-in speakers. It really just generates a second monitor for to have in front of your eyes. And I think that's neat, and I kind of want them.
What do you imagine using it for?
Well, first of all, I'm going to do the Tony Stark, like, grab at the air with shit thing, even though it won't do anything.
Sure.
Because I'm a lunatic. But there is something of, like, I kind of want a screen that moves with my head a little bit. Like, a fixed one is good, but then the ability to have, like, a bigger screen in front of me that I can put on when I'm working on certain... Like, I don't think I'd wear them all the time, but I think for certain tasks, when I want them, like, bigger and closer to my eyeballs, I'm like, that's kind of a neat accessory. Especially, I could see, like, not just for a second screen, but imagine you're, like, playing a game on your phone or something, and you could easily output it to these glasses and get a big display.
Right.
I think, to me, we always talk about the AR and the VR, and I'm like, they seem like a pain in the ass. I don't really get what they're for, but I'm like, just to it doesn't have an operating system. It's dead simple. It's just an extra display you can plug into that makes it big and in front of your face. I'm like, that's a practical use for a pair of glasses like these. Now, the downside is no announcement. They're going to be released in China first by the end of the year. No words on when they're going to be in the U.S., and no pricing has been released. So it's borderline vaporware. I don't think they look that stupid. Like, they look a little stupid, but they don't look like, MetaQuest stupid.
Sure.
So,
do you think you can can you see the keyboard when you're? I guess maybe you can.
I mean, they show people, like, sitting at a desk with a computer using them.
Right.
So I have to imagine you can look down.
Sure.
Yeah, this seems a little under-specified, but I do like the idea.
Yeah, no, it's super vague.
I like the idea. When I didn't have my 5K screen, I used that immersed VR app with the headset a couple times.
Right.
Yeah.
And it worked great. It was cool to have, like, infinite screen real estate. But having an actual 5K screen is better, I've decided.
Yeah. Fair enough. But then you don't look like you're in the Matrix and you're, like, doing crazy, Could you imagine, like, you walk into somebody's office and they're wearing those glasses? Just looking like a huge dork. I would love it. Got to keep crashing my reputation. Any other tech news you guys want to talk about, or should we pivot on over to Pixland?
Pixland.
Great. Well, let's talk about Pix. Pix is part of the show where we just bring something we want to share. Dan already talked about Diffusion Bee. We'll have the link for you to generate your own AI images on your M1 Mac or M2 Mac. So definitely check that out. My pick this week, boy, guys, I almost didn't have a pick. In fact, I wanted to pick the book we're going to be talking about on the upcoming Up for Debate episode, Going Clear, A History of Scientology by Lawrence Wright. But then I remembered I picked this book back in 2014 on the show. That was the first time I read it. I haven't reread it since, and I just reread it, and it is supremely excellent. I forgot. This is just a very well-written, well-researched, interesting, thought-provoking book, Going Clear. I really genuinely recommend people read this. It's fascinating. And we'll be talking about it on the show next week. But since I don't have a pick, I just linked to one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. Are you guys familiar with the Wendy's hot coffee video?
No.
So there's certain, like, YouTube videos that I just think are that I just love and will watch over and over and over again because I'm a lunatic. And so I'm actually going to play it for you guys here in Riverside so you can see it if I can get this working. This is a training video from, I think, the 90s from Wendy's with probably one of my favorite songs of all time.
Coffee, decaf, tea, and hot chocolate. Those are the hot drinks that you serve so good.
This is a training video for new employees.
Small and large should fill as the need arises. Coffee's holding time is 30 minutes, that's so long. You can stay there before it starts to taste too strong. Hot, hot, careful when you pour it. Hold it steady upon the counter, let it sit. Pour it in until the coffee reaches the line. Pop a top on it, gets a lid every time. Wendy's coffee tastes so fine. Hot drinks really get you going. Warm you up when you feel you're slowing. Wendy's, we always serve it right away. Have a smile and have a nice day.
And so you get the idea. And I think that song is like so weirdly catchy. That I actually ripped the MP3 at one point, and I do have it in my iTunes.
Nice.
I just think it's so catchy.
It's a bop.
Do you have it on a CD in your car?
I never.
Or
I found this after CDs were gone, but I guarantee you I would have. I absolutely would have, because it's just hot drinks. Really, it's very catchy. So anyway, the link will be on our website. Please send it to your friends and put a smile on their face. This Wendy's training video from the Sean collection.
Oh, there's a Reddit AMA request for Marvin Hawkins, the guy from the Wendy's hot drinks training video, but unfortunately, never happened.
Oh, devastating.
I know.
Devastating. There was a long... If anyone... I promise I won't bring it up on the show because it's a very specific... If anyone wants like a YouTube playlist of great employee training videos from the 90s like this, there are a bunch of them on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of them, and they're very funny. So... I'm happy to recommend a few if you're interested. Colby, I gotta hear about this pick, man. You gotta give me the scoop here.
Well, I was at the grocery store the other day, Whole Foods, and there was a huge, giant video screen showing like discount prices on avocados, and then all of a sudden it said, "Watch the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power."
Totally normal.
That's not the reason I chose to watch the show, but. I'm not a Lord of the Rings super person. I have no opinions about anything. I don't know if this is good or not, if you like know or care, but like, 3 episodes in or whatever, I'm enjoying it. They clearly spent a lot of money on it, so it's worth. It's I don't know, it's high quality, at least visually speaking. I'm enjoying the story so far. I think it's fine.
I like it too, Colby.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if people don't like it. I'm just just fully enjoying it.
Look.
Don't look. I won't look.
Yeah, only if you're racist. So the thing is, my question for you guys is, I'm assuming you're also watching House of the Dragon.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, because
What?
we are a one streaming service at a time household right now, and currently Hulu is the one. And then next up is Netflix, so I won't get to that until the winter, probably.
Dan, there's this thing now, it's called torrenting. And you can basically get any content you want without charge.
Then how am I going to watch on the Apple TV? I'll have to get Plex again.
Devastating. All right. Dan, if you want, I can add you to my HBO Max. It's fine. I'm happy to help. It's the least I can do.
It sounds like you're saying I should be watching this, Sean.
Well, no, but I wanted to hear from you guys, like, let's say me, a guy who's never watched Lord of the Rings and knows nothing about it, and who's never watched Game of Thrones and knows nothing about it. Which should I watch, House of the Dragon or the Rings of Power?
I don't know.
Or should I just skip both?
I have a hot take.
Sure.
Shouldn't you just watch the original Game of Thrones?
But I don't want to do that. The premise is too
Okay.
much. I can get in on the ground floor of House of Dragon now. I'm only 3 episodes behind, not like 8 seasons. or
Right.
whatever.
Okay. We've talked about this. Right.
Yes, it's a daunting backlog.
I really like House of the Dragon. I mean, there's not, it's a prequel, so there's no like, it's not like not having watched Game of Thrones, you don't know anything. And like most of it is,
Okay.
there's some stuff where it's like, yeah, they talked about these people in Game of Thrones who had been dead for 1,000 years or something.
Mhm.
But you could try it. It's hard to say for both of them because I am aware of the Lord of the Rings story, and similarly, like there are people in this show who are in like the actual Lord of the Rings, so like you kind of know.
So then I should ask this: which should I watch then? Game of Thrones or the Lord of the Rings movies?
Well, I mean, these are here. Maybe the question is like, what kind of experience do you want to have? Like, do you want to see like horrifying like HBO style content, or do you want to have like a kind of a mild fantasy experience?
What I read, so I follow a lot of TV critics who I really trust on Twitter, and they've all been positive on the Rings of Power, and their sort of summation of it is that it's a very earnest show. Like, it's just nice. It's pleasant, and like there's nothing kind of over the top or sinister or like it's just a show that it just. And I'm like, that does sound much more pleasant than like a Game of Thrones type of show.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty. I feel like that's my take as well.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably not going to watch either. But I appreciate you doing it. I just finished the latest season of What We Do in the Shadows, which was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen it, so I'll stay on the lookout. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'll let you know. Again, one of my favorite genres is TV shows they spent $1 billion on. So it does seem up my alley in that respect. I didn't get a 4K TV for nothing.
Right.
Wonderful. Well, great pick, Colby. Thank you for that. Well, the links to all of these picks on the website, you can check them out there at don'tpanic.io. Not only the links to the picks, but also the show itself. The audio and the video will be there. Of course, you should subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts. Just search for Don't Panic. We're on all the platforms. I actually just read that Twitter now has podcasts for some reason, so I got to look and see if we're on there. And if we are, I'll make sure we're removed. And then also get the video version on YouTube. And then you can get a hold of us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com, or tweet at us at Don't Panic Show. Guys, that does it for this Monday. We're wrapping it up here as we cruise through September. They're Colby and Dan. I'm Sean. We appreciate you all being here. And we'll see you next time for another great episode of Don't Panic.